I know I ain't do a video in a little bit. That's because I just been taking care of business. But I'm gonna do a quick little video real fast. Just sitting in the car, you know, I don't be knowing all that special YouTube shit, so I'm just gonna do it the way I do it. But I think the last video I talked about the store having the 2-for-1 and knowing how to hustle and survive in jail without having people put money on your books. But like, I remember being addicted to the hustle in general. So this ain't even about jail. This is about just being in these streets and you grow up doing crime. Like I started doing crime in my earlies, like 12, you know, just doing shit. And people don't understand that there's a certain addiction to hustling. When I say there's an addiction to hustling, I mean like there was a time when I didn't think there was nothing else I could do besides hustle. I remember being in my crib in Crown Heights and I broke down because I just finished doing a whole bunch of like come up boosting and just doing shit. And I had shit, like I came up off of a bunch of luxury watches. Like I was bagging shit, bro. I was bagging shit like fucking Panerais. I was bagging shit like Cartiers. I was bagging these watches and I had a method of doing it where I would wear a long coat with another watch, a duplicate of that same watch that I would go down to Chinatown and get that duplicate, and then I would go and try it on and flip it and just move that shit above the other one when the person not looking. And I was able to buy a whip, get a new apartment and all that shit, pulling new moves. And I was proud of myself because I was getting the system. I was proud. But then that was all I was doing. I was fresh. I had a lot of clothes. Like I had sick watches. I was jig, but I didn't really do nothing else besides that. And it took so long for me to discover myself because I come from, bro, when we was little, we were strong arming dudes for their JanSport book bags. Like we was doing strong arm robberies. We was hitting gas stations. We was doing some shit. Like I grew up in that time where we ain't had cell phones and we wasn't publicizing all of that shit. We was just really getting it in as young dudes. And that shit becomes an addiction. Just like when I started selling drugs, it was an addiction. So people don't get it. Is that how does a dude, like when you see some of these rappers and some of these guys, you're like, that nigga got money already. How come he's still in these streets? He got bread already. How come that nigga still fucking with niggas that's in the streets, putting his shit at risk? Cause y'all don't understand that that shit is in a nigga blood. That shit is like, it's not even about how much money I got or what I'm doing. It's that come up, like that feeling. It's a feeling. And unless you come from the place that I know a lot of us come from, it'd be difficult for you to understand. Like, I remember thinking to myself, like, bro, you a fiend hustling. And I had to discover some other shit, like the photography shit, being able to shoot for Vogue, having cribs, real estate, all that shit changed my world. But it's not like I still don't think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I came home from jail, I was like, I'm not selling crack. That shit was too dirty because you look funny. You a clean nigga, and it's this dirty person coming to talk to you. It's obvious what's going on. So I started selling coke, and coke was amazing. The people were clean. I was going to dope places, serving clean-ass motherfuckers. And that shit was like, I loved it. But I started to be like, damn, I'm jig. I'm going to all these hotels. I'm hitting spots. I'm in Manhattan, bro. I'm serving Manhattan for real, for real. Like I'm going to one hotel. I'm at the Gansevoort. I'm at Buddha Bar. I'm at all that dope shit. Soho House. Like, I'm really in these places be serving. I'm going to Bungalow 8. Y'all niggas don't even know about Bungalow 8. I'm serving. And it was good because the bread was crazy. And I copped a new whip and shit was fresh. I was bagging mad little shorties. But I still ain't have a purpose besides hustling. So it's like right now, I got a purpose and it feel good. I tell the jail stories because niggas don't come from where I come from. A lot of people talk, they talk, but how do you make that 360? And I'm a kid who came from not only jail, group homes, and in the 80s, they was playing you out. You was in them group homes, and then from the group homes, if you wild out, like I wild out because I was little. I was only like 13, and I was at this group home, and there was bigger kids there. I was in the overnight system, and there was big kids there. And I remember I just got to this spot. And I was just sitting on the bunk. I wasn't even fucking with nobody. I was just sitting on the bunk. And dude just punched me in the face. Yo, this nigga just punched me in the face for nothing. Like, he punched me on the side of my face, like not in my eye or nothing. Like, he hit me like right here. He was big, and he just nailed me, bow, so much that my ears started ringing. I smelled funny smells in my nose because he hit me hard. And then them niggas started laughing. And I just looked around, got up and went in the bathroom, bro. I just started crying. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I felt like a total Vic. I was mad as shit. So there was 2 bathrooms, so niggas was knocking on the door. I wasn't opening the door. Plus, it was type late. I got there like around 9:30. They shut the lights off at 10:15. So I stayed in that bathroom till like 1 o'clock. Dead ass. It was like 1 o'clock, or it felt like 1 o'clock. Either way, by the time I opened the door to come out that bathroom, it was people was asleep. Everybody was asleep. Old boy was knocked out, and my bunk wasn't too far from him. So I just thought about it, and I just looked at him, and I was like, yo, I hate this dude, bro. I fucking hate this dude. And the tears started coming down again. And I picked up a little locker. There was these little lockers right by the beds. These little, like, gray lockers, similar to the ones we got up north. Because upstate New York, you get a big locker and a little locker. So this locker was the equivalent to the little locker. And I picked that shit up, and I dropped that shit on that nigga head. Word. I dropped that shit on his head, and that shit cracked the side of his head from his eyebrow down to right here. A big, nasty, white, open cut opened up. And that shit made me scared because it was white. And then all of a sudden, the blood started coming. He was screaming. He was screaming at the top of his lungs. That nigga was screaming. He was letting out a sound, holding his face. Blood was everywhere. When I tell you, that nigga looked like a mob scene. And I'm crying, and I'm like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm pissed. But you know what I'm saying? And them niggas came, tackled me. They put me in a room, closed the door. And then next thing you know, I was sent to a psychiatric evaluation spot. And that's when I spent like years, bro. I spent like 3 years going through psychiatric spots, getting plugged in with the Thorazine and the Mellaril. Never took the Haldol, lithium, all them crazy drugs that they don't even give niggas no more. I was on them shits, and it was a weird time in life, but they said I was psychotic. and I needed to be medicated, so them niggas put me on that shit, on that dog food, and I went through that shit. That's before jail. So could you imagine how they was doing? They was washing dudes. I was a little dude. I was a teenager, a young teenager, and I remember seeing other dudes in there, and they was young as me, younger, and them drugs washed their brain. And a lot of us went from the psychiatric shit to jail, different type of shit. So when I say a nigga a golden child, I'm a golden child. And when I tell you stuff, whoever listening, it could be one of y'all niggas, it could be 1,000, I don't give a fuck. But if I tell you something, you know I've been through it. And that shit be valid. And my shit is verified. But look, I'm gonna get up out of here. Easy.